All right. Go live. Oh, there we go. What is going on? I hate living in Pittsburgh. The storms are well south of us. Um. Well, no. Well, a lot of snow is just north of Pittsburgh too. Let's see. What do we got? What's going on radar, Mega? What type of alert do we got? We got some severe weather. We got some severe thunderstorms. There's nothing too bad going on. I don't even think we need to look at the radar. Nah. Nothing too crazy. What's going on, everyone? What's going on, Jordan? Yeah, I just posted and immediately got on because, dude, I'm only going to be streaming for like maybe 45 minutes. I was supposed to get on way earlier, but my son decided he wasn't going to let me sleep last night. So I was really exhausted. I got home from work and I took a long nap. I got home from work and I took a nap and I woke up at like 7:30. And you know how sometimes when you nap and then you wake up and you're like delusional? I thought it was 7:30 a.m. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be late to work. And then I was like, oh, wait, it's still nighttime. I was so out of it. But yeah, I was supposed to post way earlier and get on way earlier. I got a grand total of like 3 hours of sleep last night. And then I had a long day at work. What's going on, Brad? I'm doing good. Yeah. Kids ruin everything. What do you mean? How bad will it be for Colorado? What are you expecting for Colorado here? We don't have any severe weather in the forecast for Colorado. We do have a nice little snowstorm that wants to move through though. Wants to start digging in as we get into Thursday night and into Friday. That could be a decent amount of snow. I should have probably talked about that in my video. Actually, I can talk about it tomorrow. This is the latest Euro on this snowfall out there. Pretty good amount of snow, huh? Thursday night through Saturday morning. No, not a bad amount of snow. We're talking 6 inches to a foot and a half in some areas. So up here as well through the northern portions of the central northern Rockies. Yeah, you know, we're gonna have a consistent warm up as we get into next week. I believe this is our April. This is our 420. This is our April 20th through April 24th outlook, and then you can push this all the way out to April 28th, and we're still sitting in a warm pocket. We're gonna have a ridge out east. Not exactly a dry ridge, but a hot one. What's going on, NTX? You know what I mean? What is up, Charles? When a high pressure sits east of Florida, will the Gulf form up? Yeah, a high pressure setting up above or even around in the region of the Gulf does help it warm up. It does, because let's zoom out here. All right, let me do this. Let me do this. What the heck is that? There we go. Let's move back to continental. Here's what happens, and you can see the high pressure down here. Even out here, guys, this can help. Okay, you've got a big pocket of these are very large high pressure systems. And what this does is it stifles the formation of thunderstorms. And when you're not getting lows and thunderstorms that are pulling and evaporating water off the surface, there's no upwelling happening. You know, that warm water is protected by that high pressure pushing down on it. And so that sunlight and that heat is just heating it up all day. It's just boiling. So, you know, if you were to see a lot of thunderstorms, low pressure systems moving out of the Gulf, you're going to get a lot of evaporation, a lot of upwelling, cooler water below warm surface water that's going to boil up, and it's going to cool off the Gulf a little bit. But we've had high pressures lately. Just anyone in Florida knows it has not been very rainy over, right? Is anyone here in Florida? They've been seeing below average rainfall for quite a while now, and because they've had a couple different high pressures that have been setting up down here. That's why even with our last severe weather outbreak, guys, I don't know if you guys remember, there was like none in the Southeast. Remember around April 2nd, all that severe weather was up here. There was a low here, and it was all fuddling between the low and the high. So the Gulf has had a lot of time to warm. So has the Southeast. So has the Western Atlantic over here too, which is going to cause some issues. All right. Well, if we're going to spam, then you're going to get muted. All right. Your mic is sick. Thanks. I'm waiting for it finally to be warm. For the pool to get warm, yeah. Yeah, my parents I lived in South Florida, and I remember when they bought a pool heater, and their friends were like, "Why are you buying a pool heater?" We live in South Florida, but it was pretty cold for like 4 months a year. You had to be, yeah. Thanks, Yali. Yeah, I was gonna do a longer stream today, Yali. I was saying, and my son was having issues sleeping last night. So of course I was up all night. I didn't get any sleep, and I was exhausted when I got home from work and took a long nap. I never nap. Like, I never nap during the day. But I'll probably only be on for like 45 minutes. That just threw everything back. I literally didn't even post till like 10 minutes ago, and then I got right on. Kids wearing me out. Yeah, yeah, he's been sick for like, me and him have both felt like had like a cough for like 2 or 3 weeks straight. I don't know what's going on with this, but I don't really care about myself. I just want him to feel better. April 25th to 26th in Tennessee. Let's get down here. Let's get down here. It's going to be hard for me to tell you what's going to happen over a week and a half out. But we could take a look at what the European thinks going to happen out there. We can take a gander. You know what I mean? You can just see nonstop severe weather. Nonstop severe weather through a lot of the eastern U.S. all the way through the end of April, as we've been talking. As we've been talking about. So, right now, it's anytime the end of April from the Central Plains out east, there's going to be a chance that you're going to be in a severe weather risk zone on that day. So, yeah. And if the Euro was perfectly correct, you guys, Tennessee would probably get some thunderstorms on the 25th and 26th. But you really don't, that's kind of out there in la la land, where these models don't really know what's going to happen that far out. They take a guess, but 99% of the time they're incorrect that far out. Temperature wise, they can be close, but like if you're talking about thunder, like rainfall, precipitation wise, they're not really going to get it. Appreciate you, NTX and Yali. No problem, Alex. Yeah, generally once we get within 120 hours, I start to take the forecast seriously on here. 120 hours meaning, somewhere around 5 days out. Then these models can really start to understand what your conditions are probably going to look like. But yeah, they can generally see temperatures not pretty far out though. Probably going to be warm out there. Temperatures are take up a much they're much larger. When it's not hard for these models to track troughing and ridging patterns, which is what controls our temperatures. And these are weather events that happen over huge regions, big warm ups and cool downs. Typically, not always, but typically. But when it comes down to thunderstorms, rainfall, and stuff like that, they're extremely local. You can have a severe weather breakout that's like just in here or just in here. They're very local, and so, yeah, it's hard for these models to tell down to that micro of a level what's going to be happening more than 5 days out. My birthday is April 19th. Should I alter plans in Denver, Colorado? April 19th? Happy early birthday. That's this Saturday. There's gonna be a lot of snow. I don't know if it's gonna snow in Denver. Denver's probably gonna be more mixing and cold rain, but the weather doesn't look fantastic. You're gonna be getting cold rain or wet snow. Probably have some decent winds as well. Let's look at the winds through here on the 19th. Not too bad. A little gusty, not too bad though. This Friday in Illinois. Yeah, we'll be watching this low pressure up here to the north. There's a potential severe weather setup this Friday evening, really through the nighttime. I think it does include Chicago. We can take a look at it. This is our day 5 risk. It'll be a day 4 tomorrow. This will move around and expand. We'll get a marginal in here. It's possible to get an enhanced, but this is our Friday outlook. This looks to be pretty late in the day. I think this is going to be an evening into really late in Friday and into really early in the morning on Saturday, this event here. So we need to wait a little bit while to nail down the actual timing. But again, just taking a look at the future radar with that, this event looks to really spark off not really even until we get into like 6-7 p.m. On Friday, and then it moves east through the night. But then you could have a second severe weather setup right behind it. Look at this. This would be on Sunday evening up here for the Midwest. We could get some decent severe weather out of this. So, and then there's just more and more and more behind it. Yeah. Easter baseball in Memphis. Right now, it's going to be close. Ooh, you guys might be put in a risk zone Sunday or Monday. Yeah, southwestern Indiana might get in on some of this severe weather setup on Saturday morning. It'd probably be through Saturday morning, and then potentially a second wave on Sunday. Are we almost at the point of the year where cold fronts don't make it that cold and it's rather mild? I mean, yeah, there's not as much. What's happening is, the North Pole is way colder than the South Pole. Our Arctic to the north is way colder than Antarctica. Not way colder, but it's colder. It's the coldest pole on the planet. So, it's warm. It starts to warm up. It starts to lose that polar vortex we talk about over winter. So even when you get these troughs that really want to dig vertically down into the states, it doesn't have that much cold air to pull with it. But no, I mean, severe weather-wise, it's pulling cold air in the mid to upper level atmospheres down into the states all the way through the end of May into the beginning of June. But yeah, surface-wise, surface cold air, it's starting to wind down how much cold air it's going to pull into the U.S. as we approach the end of April. Weather Friday for Northwest Indiana. Yeah, you guys are in a slight risk. I think there's going to be the chance. I think we're going to see. I don't expect a super huge tornado risk. Maybe a 5% for Northwest Indiana. But we'll have to see if that changes. I do think there'll be a hail, wind, and tornado threat with this day 5 risk. Let's take a look. Let's dive a little bit deeper into this day 5. There's a day 4 risk as well, too. This is our day 4 risk. It's pretty much the state of Iowa. Pretty much the state of Iowa. Don't be fooled by this one little yellow thing. As we get closer, we'll see more risk zones put around this. It'll expand a little bit, I think. Yeah, let's look at our dew points as we get into Friday. We can actually look at our 18Z, our latest euro. Okay. So, let's see. Here we go. Look at those dew points lifting to the north. Look at that. Really, really nice dew points. Really nice dew points as we get into Friday evening. This is when we're expecting things to kind of pop off here. A few different things you can look at. Not the tightest dry line I've ever seen here, but you've got that. This is cooler, dry air, very warm, moist air. This is the boundary, obviously, where these are going to be interacting. And then this is, you could actually have a dry line set up down here to the south. This is where it's going to be interacting. And that's where we expect the severe weather. Let's look at our cape. Let's look at our cape here. So you've got these dew points. What's driving this is watch our jet stream tilt up here. Ready? And there it is. See that tilt right up towards Chicago in the Midwest? Once you start getting these directional winds, you're going to have a few things. Notice westerly winds here and notice southwesterly southerly winds. This is what can cause rotation. You have winds coming this way and winds coming this way. Shear, helicity. Not to mention those southwesterly and southern winds are pulling that Gulf moisture up. So I haven't looked at the low-level jet yet, actually. Let's take a look at the low-level jet. It's actually pretty. It's actually better looking low-level jet than I thought. Not bad. Not the scariest low-level jet I've ever seen. This concerns me a little bit. As we get out into Sunday, what's going on down here with this LLJ. I think we could have a severe setup Sunday that pushes up through here, that starts down here in central to eastern Texas. Sorry, Yali, but we'll see. Liam, what's going on? Guys, I got your questions in one second. But yeah, so we've got all the things we need here. Our most unstable cape for Friday as well. There it is. That's actually a good amount of cape up there as well. Pretty good amount of cape up there. Pushing 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of cape. There's a little bit of inhibition, so I wonder if there's some thoughts that. I wonder if there's some thoughts that maybe the cap holds, but as you can see, possible hazard type, marginal tornado, 2.0 effective layer STP, SIGTOR parameter. Rotation is going to be possible up here. Rotation will be possible all the way up there as well. So we'll have to watch it. Not looking like the most severe setup I've ever seen, but you got to really pay attention. Sometimes these things uptrend as we get closer, and you start to see a more aggressive look, which we hope doesn't happen. The weather just keeps on giving in Texarkana. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. What's going on, MK? Thursday looks pretty potent. We can look at Thursday. Is Nam going to show me those? I want to see if I get any SIGTOR params for Thursday. Not looking forward to a walk of storm. To a walk of storm chances in Oklahoma, considering it has the chance to be severe the whole time. What do you mean to a walk? You mean to wake up? Leanne, what are you trying to say there? Yeah, I love me some thunderstorms, especially at nighttime. Should I play? Should you stay? Wait, playing a game, not pool. Guessing about storms. MK, you gonna go storm chasing? I've always wanted to storm chase. Yeehaw! Yeehaw, cowboy. Yali, thanks for the cowboy hat. I missed it again. One of these days, I'll be looking at my chat when it comes in. One of these days, I will be. Shy, I appreciate you. Kelly, what's going on? Kirkul, what's going on? Hi, Nora. Constance, what's up? I definitely feel like the storm is targeting Chicago on Friday. Yeah, Chicago's that's kind of where I just took that this is where I'm taking the soundings at. You know what I mean? There is a tour risk there. I'll tell you, this is some of the stupidest. There's no directional shear here. This is all westerly, so that might save you guys from a tornado. There's not much shear there, especially at the lower levels. So we'll see. There's definitely helicity. There's definitely the chance for rotation up and down that severe weather risk zone. We'll know a little bit more. We know we don't even have our short range models ready for that yet. Let's look at the Thursday setup really quickly. Let's look at the Thursday setup. We're getting our 00Z NAM. It might be on our 18Z NAM. Oh, there it is. I think it is on our 18Z NAM. Let me see. Let's get into SIGTOR parameters. Why does he say yeehaw? That's funny. Look at these SIGTOR parameters creeping up into Iowa on Thursday. That's actually a not bad looking. This isn't a bad looking sounding. Almost a 4.0 effective layer. Oh, a decent looking hodograph. Really good lower level directional shear. You're going from southeasterly wind to westerly. That's incredible. Lower level shear here. 2200 joules per kilogram surface cape is really good too. 16.8 composite. Supercells. A cap. So you've got that what we call loaded pew loaded gun type of setup where if that snaps, this cape could explode. Really good looking setup here. So yeah. Thursday evening. Yeah, I'd say you could get a surprising SIGTOR in Iowa or potentially even southeastern Nebraska, northeastern Kansas, northwestern Missouri. So I don't think Pam's in here, but Pam should probably pay attention to the threat that day. It does include Omaha, and I can see why now after looking at that. Sounding. Tomorrow looks pretty good for most people, if I'm being honest. A little bit of rainfall up in the northeast, but no severe weather anywhere. What's going on, Confused Bond? Yes, that is that's true, Yali. Appreciate you, Sam. Oh, a week of storms. Yes. I see what you're trying to say. I should have been able to decipher that, Leanne. Any tornadoes in Dallas this weekend? Yeah, we'll see what happens down here. This is gonna give Friday night into Saturday morning. We're Dallas Fort Worth could get a little bit of maybe 2 to 5% tornado chance. Could even be a little bit higher. But then look what happens right after it Sunday too. I mean, we could see tornado risk zones over Dallas Fort Worth really Friday all the way through next Monday, with the setup we're having. So, I want to see what our new NAM says. Do we have any SIGTOR down there? It's only showing us the Thursday, so we're not going to be able to see it. But Virginia out there, Saturday, Sunday. The cough that just keeps on giving. This cough, I've literally had this cough for like 3 weeks now. Where is Charlottesville, Virginia? Hold up, chat. Oh yeah, up there, northern central-ish. Really just central. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, Saturday looks like it could get a little dicey for you guys in Virginia. You could have some thunderstorms moving through. I don't think those would be severe, though, Saturday. And then Sunday looks pretty clear. I'm not seeing really any. I don't think that's a severe setup for Saturday or Sunday, but you could get some thunderstorms out there. Charlottesville, Virginia on Saturday. Correct. Yali, I appreciate that. Laddie, what's poppin'? Am I the only one in the backyard at filming rotation while all of the devices in the house are screaming tornado warnings? Yeah, I used to love looking for rotation in the clouds. Niece invited you for Easter and an egg hunt. It looks like there's going to be isolated thunderstorms. So there's a chance you get no rain Saturday, but you know, it's an isolated setup, meaning it's not like a big wall of rain that's moving over. There's going to be pop-up thunderstorms in the area. You know, the GFS doesn't even have any rainfall in Virginia on Saturday, so it's going to be a real hit or miss, I think. I think right now it looks like it's going to be. I'm leaning towards it's going to be a nicer day. No problem. No problem. Des Moines, Iowa. Yeah, we're watching the threat for some severe weather on Thursday in Des Moines. And not just any severe weather. There's going to be a SIGTOR potential in here, meaning you could get an EF2 plus tornado. I don't know if we're going to get an EF2 plus tornado, but with 18Z NAM does put some decent SIGTOR up into Iowa on Thursday. So we'll have to watch it. There's going to be enough energy up there to produce some pretty strong thunderstorms capable of being severe. Going to my mom's for Easter Sunday. How does Lawrence, Kansas look? Guys, I think the Central Plains could have some issues on Sunday. Look at this. Look at this. We're going to have a severe threat out here on Sunday, unfortunately, I think. Give me 1 second, guys. Hi, chat. Hi, chat. Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth. Guys, I said this in I think my video yesterday. Like, this whole area for Easter Sunday, we'll have to see how this sets up. You know, this doesn't necessarily mean it's a good tornado setup. I'm guessing we're gonna have a lot of Cape down here on Sunday. Let's look at our most unstable. Let's go into our 12Z. Not even that. I mean, not a ton, honestly. Not a ton. Will they put a risk zone here? Let me take a little bit. Let me take a sounding. Let's see if we can get a good sounding out here on Sunday. See if we can find a good one. Marginal tornado risk there. No surface cape. Let's see. This could be a Saturday night, Sunday morning thing too. This could, I mean, The 12Z Euro has this clearing out by Sunday afternoon and moving up into the Midwest. It'll be the Midwest. It'll be Chicago's problem on Easter. Depending on how fast this thing moves. What's a huge ball risk, Santi? What does that even mean? Kansas City, Missouri? Well, what day are we talking about? Depends. Yeah, I just spoke about Dallas. Dallas is going to, as we get into really Dallas Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we're going to have to watch severe weather threats. A lot of moisture coming off the Gulf. There's going to be a lot of thunderstorm activity down there. A lot of you guys are asking about cities, but I have no idea when the timeline. You know what I mean? You need to tell me what you're talking about. Here, one second. Let me turn this on. Omaha Thursday? Yeah, there's going to be a SIG tour risk in and around Omaha on Thursday. We just looked at that. I pulled a pretty decent sounding from around Omaha on Thursday. Timing wise, man, that's tough. Let's look at the NAM. It's really tough to tell this timing on Thursday. Let's go. Euro 18Z. It does seem like a Thursday morning thing. For Omaha. And an afternoon thing for Iowa. What's going on, Sherry? What is up? Southeast Kansas this weekend. It's going to be active down there. Look at this. Some thunderstorm activity. Doesn't look too severe right now, but we'll watch it on Thursday. Then getting into this weekend, here we go. You're going to have a little bit of a severe threat. You should have a severe threat as we get into Friday evening. Saturday, we could have another severe threat. Saturday and Sunday, we could see a risk zone placed here as well. We'll have to see. You might have you might have a lot of rain-cooled air here. You might actually have more instability. Because of how large this pocket of rain is. So this may end up not being very severe. We took a look at the Cape. There's not too much Cape up here. A lot of this Cape is in central Oklahoma and south as this, low pressure surface low is developing. So we could get out of this without having a big severe setup on Sunday. Guess that's all I can think of right now. Michigan on Friday. Well, look. Let's go to our day 5 risk zone. It does include Detroit out to Grand Rapids. So central and southern Michigan, you're going to be in that. I don't know. I don't expect to get like an enhanced or anything, but an enhanced isn't possible. To me, this is no this is no major severe weather setup, but there's going to be rotation along this boundary. We've got the westerly and southerly kind of winds interacting up here. There's going to be a little rotation along this boundary. I would not expect a tornado outbreak with this. I would expect tornadoes on Friday, though. up and down this boundary. Not a major tornado outbreak, though. But we'll have to see how things change. That feels very Groundhog Day weather-wise. It's a very April 2nd type setup, except for it looks a lot weaker. Especially with that high pressure to the southeast. Low here. It's a very similar setup, but a lot weaker. What's up with Omaha Thursday? Well, Omaha, I think I think Omaha could get into 15% or 10% tornado risk zone. I think Omaha could get into 10%. Maybe even a hatched, but we'll have to see. I think the tornado threat could be significant. It's going to be conditional, I think, though. It looks pretty conditional to me. Meaning it's an all or nothing type of event. Could be a bust. But like I said, we looked at a sounding earlier that was pretty decent in and around Omaha on the NAM. Where was it? Let's go back here to our SIGTOR param. You know, this is south of Omaha, but this isn't going to be perfect. And this is a pretty good looking sounding. So 76% SIG. Yeah, 2400 surface cape. This is a pretty good sounding, so we'll have to pay attention. Once we get, you know, we'll want to look at the HER. So once we get within 48 hours of this event, which will be tomorrow, we'll get within 48 hours. We'll get the HER, and then we'll be able to break it down a lot better. Because it could end up being a little bit more severe up there than we think on Thursday. It's an interesting setup. Messi coming to Cleveland Saturday. Are we going to be in the clear for rain? Is there a soccer game going on? You don't want my answer. You don't want my answer. Let's just say that. I feel like I'm doing ASMR. What's it called, guys? You know that thing that people do? Oh, ASMR. Do they know if there's tornado chances day 5 outlook? There will. Yeah, I don't have nails. I was trying to make it sound cool. All you hear is just my skin. Just, it's not cool sounding. There's going to be rotation along those thunderstorms on Friday, including in northwestern Arkansas. Yes, there will be. The setup isn't looking like a major. It's not looking like a major tornado outbreak. But it does to me. I mean, you can see right here in a random sounding. I just clicked on in northwestern Arkansas. You have almost southeasterly winds into westerly winds in the, lower level of the atmosphere. So good directional shear. Not incredible velocity shear, but there'll be rotation. So if you can get a strong enough thunderstorm forming down there, you'll have some good cape. Yeah, we'll have to watch that threat. I think you guys will be under at least a 5%. Yeah, Dallas too. Like I said, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we could have tornado chances down there in and around the DFW. Again, I'm not seeing anything that's like jumping off the map that looks super scary with any of the severe weather, but it just looks like we're gonna have a consistent severe weather threat for like 8-9 days straight at least, or more. Once we get into this Thursday, we're gonna have nonstop risk zones. I know we don't have a day 6, 7, and 8 risk zone right now, marginal or above, but we will. Yeah. Well, when I said it's a good sounding for Chicago on Friday, I meant good for severe weather, not good for Chicago residents. Um, I'm not doing ASMR noises on Discord, Santi. It's not in my contract. Um, yeah, it's not the craziest soundings I've ever seen, but there's some decent soundings up there near Chicago. There's some decent soundings up there near Chicago on Friday. Yeah, I mean, there's Sig Tour potential here. There's a little bit of a cap, but you've got plenty of cape available here. 220 plus SRH surface relative felicity, storm relative felicity, and then almost 30 knot shear at the surface. You could get some things. You could get some twisty boys kicked up on Friday up near in the Chicago area. So we'll have to watch that. But it's really all up and down this boundary here. You can kind of see. It really matches that risk zone. So it's like they're just circling the Cape. They're getting boring. They're circling the Cape for their risk zone. I've heard tornadoes tonight in Charleston, West Virginia. I'm near Martinsburg. Should I be worried? Oh no. Those are out. You're done. Your severe weather night's done in West Virginia. You're done. You're done. All your air is rain cooled. Severe weather's off to the east. Yeah, should be good. Guys, I want it to stream longer, but listen. It's my son. I'm blaming it on my son. I know it's wrong to blame your 2-year-old son for everything, but for this, I'm gonna. Okay. Listen, I want it to stream longer. That kid kept me up all night, and then instead of getting back and making a video, I got back from work and I fell asleep. Oh my god, I was at work. I was literally like dozing off all day at work today. It was terrible. I don't remember. I don't even know what I did at work. I know. Yeah, thanks, Confused Blonde. I know. She said, "Wait till the baby comes." I know it's only gonna get worse. I know. My wife's gonna be 38 weeks. She's about to be 38 weeks pregnant. Oh my gosh. Kansas City for this weekend? Yeah, listen. Central Plains, get ready, okay? As we get into Friday, really Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're going to see a lot of different chances for thunderstorms and severe weather to pop up through the Central Plains and out east. But a lot of it's going to be initiated over the Central Plains. You can see what's happening here. Here we go. Our dew points start to just plummet up into the middle, start to really, really fire up into the Central Plains, and then you just see this constant explosion of thunderstorms as we really move all the way through the end of April. Watch. Here we go. See out east? They just keep coming. So that hasn't changed. Who knows, Santi? It could be tomorrow. Appreciate the follow, bud. Cleveland, Ohio on Friday. Cleveland, Ohio doesn't look to have much of a Friday threat. Cleveland, Ohio could have a little bit of a severe threat on Saturday, although I don't know. You might just be in a marginal. There's not going to be much rotation out there in Cleveland. You've got really just westerlies flowing through on Saturday. So I think it's going to be more of rain, thunderstorms, and not a severe threat on Saturday. But we'll see. We'll see. Things are going to update. I just need a nice day on May 3rd in Cleveland. What's gonna happen on May 3rd? No one knows. I think we'll still be in a severe weather. I think we'll still be in a train of severe weather because the way our jet stream's setting up, we're starting to get that. negative PNA look where our jet stream wants to do this. When you start getting these consistent southwesterly winds and southerly winds, especially as you get into May, we could have an active May. We're expected to stay in an end zone. We float around in Enzo neutral. Enzo neutral and weak La Nina as well, which is prime for severe weather. So, and as we all know, May is typically the month we see the most, on average, we see the most tornadoes in. It's our most active tornado month. Not to freak anyone out, but May is the peak of tornado season, and then it starts to slow down in the beginning of June. Friday, Champaign, Illinois. I think all of Illinois is going to need to be on watch Friday. All of Illinois is in that slight might expand, and we're going to get a marginal. I think the whole state's going to be in a risk zone on Friday. So stay weather alert that day. We're going to get more information on Wednesday. We'll have our HRRR, our NAM 3K. We'll have our short range models, and we'll be able to really dig down into the details of what that severe weather is going to look like for the Chicago or Illinois area. All right, guys. All right. Maybe my son will let me sleep tonight, and then I'll be able to be on longer tomorrow. Please. All Dad wants is sleep. I appreciate you guys. I'll be posting again tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow, regardless of if I'm on for 45 minutes or if I'm on for 3 hours. I'll be on. I'll be on again tomorrow. Try to get on at least by 9. Benadryl is your friend. Yeah. Well, the problem is, yeah, when I take like anything that helps you sleep, I can never get out of bed in the morning. I'm like glued. I'm like concrete to the bed. Yeah. Thanks, Constance. Yeah, I appreciate all you. Appreciate anyone who followed. Like I said, if anyone's new in here, I post every day and I stream every night. For as long as I can. But everyone have a great night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, for my son. True. I didn't think about that. True. All right, guys, have a good night.